Here to show you how to turn millennial price shoppers into loyal customers is Sean Gardner, trainer with Joe Verde Sales and Management Training, Inc. Please give him a warm welcome.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Sean Gardner. I'm a Joe Verde trainer. I've been with Joe Verde for 20 years. So let's get this thing started. You guys ready to sell more cars, have more fun, and make more money? What if it wasn't a highball? I mean, what if we really were going to talk about some of the best ways to take millennial price shoppers and turn them into loyal customers? That could help you sell some cars, couldn't it? And if you do what we talk about in this workshop, you're going to make more on each unit you sell, which means 2017 has a chance to be your best year ever. Listen, it's my job in this session to give you a little bit of an education when it comes to the millennial buyer and the habits of how they buy cars. I want to give you what we would consider the single biggest secret in winning the sale online, on the phone, and on the lot. I want to spend a little time and talk about a new value-based selling process for today's buyer. I want to give you some quick tips on how to work the numbers with millennials. And then, and I think this is even most important, I want to talk about how to take that one-time millennial sale and turn them into a lifetime loyal customer. Okay? All right, so let's get this thing kicked off right, and let's start by learning about the millennial. This is our most wanted customer right now, isn't it? This is the profile of the millennial. And look, from the information that I've gathered, they're in the early 20s to middle 30s. They're basically young adults. What you see on the screen is actually a little wrong. There's 83 million of them. They're the biggest generation ever. They're even bigger than the baby boom generation. 46% of the workforce by 2020 will be millennials. That's just in 3 short years. Good news, 24% plan on buying a car this very year. I did a rough math on that. 83 million times 24%, that's 19 plus million sales in 2017 just to this generation. Now that seems like a lot of opportunity, doesn't it? And based on my rough math also, and based on my generation, where the average person owns 12 cars over a lifetime and has an average family of 3, do this math, follow me, that's 12 times 3, that's 36 cars per household over a lifetime times 83 million. Now, I tried to do that calculation on my iPhone, but the number of sales opportunities was so huge, there wasn't enough room for the answer. But basically, doesn't this mean that we couldn't be in any better business at any better time? All right, so I hope you're seeing a little potential. Let's talk about the habits of a millennial car buyer. Some of you guys are millennials, I'm sure. Okay, you don't remember what life was like without the internet, but who does, right? In an 8-hour workday, they spend 1.8 of those 8 hours on social media. User reviews are more important than expert reviews. And I think most critical, the average millennial will spend 17 hours online 17 hours online doing research before they step foot in your dealership. So, but I think this is more good news, don't you? Based on all the research they do, by the time they get to your store, they usually know what they want, and they're ready to do what? So how hard should it be to sell someone who came there to buy? I've got 3 millennial kids. I've got 2 son-in-laws who are millennials. Okay? Basically, they have a tremendous amount of intel and resources at their fingertips. They want transparency. They want information. They actually value a well-trained professional salesperson. They want to be treated with respect, and they definitely don't want to spend all day at your dealership. So I hope you're seeing a little potential that we have over the next decade, because there's a ton of it. But if we're going to start tapping into this potential, we need to make a big picture decision on long-term strategy in our sales department. How are we going to approach this potential? So look at this next page. There are 3 strategies that you can pick from. 1, you can stay the course with the hard sale approach. I hope not, but you still see salespeople doing this, don't you? Like for instance, okay? For instance, what's the difference between a low ball and a lie? Nothing, right? Okay, all right. What does 7 days in a row make? Weak. You're as weak as circus lemonade, right? Oh, and if you're not a closer, take the C off. I'm not even allowed to say that word, okay? But here's the point. Isn't it time to ditch the if I could, would you? What's it gonna take to earn your business? And if we can split the different stuff? A millennial will leave in a second when you break out those hard old school closes. Now, a lot of us though, we've switched too much to the second strategy, the no sale approach. You've seen this, haven't you? Basically, you're going up there talking to a customer. Hi, I'm Sean. How can I help you? And the customer says what? They're just what? And then it goes downhill from there, doesn't it? I mean, you're letting the customer take control. Maybe you don't even get the customer's name. Sometimes we're not even going on the demo. We're never working for a now mindset. We don't even ask for the sale. You can't get them in the building. And even when we do sell the car, we don't know how to handle the simplest of price questions, so we're giving up big time gross profit that we may not have to. So you have the hard sale, you got the no sale. But then we have our third strategy, professional sales. This is the strategy to pick long term, isn't it? What's professional sales? Professional sales is establishing a selling process from the millennial's viewpoint. From their eyes, not my eyes. I'm not a millennial. Okay, it's not what can I do to sell that millennial a car? It's how can we make it easier for them to buy? Professional sales is establishing a process and developing skills so that the salespeople are more capable with today's buyer and to increase their odds of selling a car today every single day. That sounds good, doesn't it? Selling a car today every single day. You know what professional sales is? Professional sales is learning to separate yourself from the competition by exceeding expectations and by giving the customer a unique experience with the ultimate goal of having them come back to buy another car. Professional sales is where it's at, isn't it? Oh, and if you don't pick professional sales, if you don't commit to good continued training in your dealership, doesn't it automatically default to the other two styles? Either hard sale or no sale? You don't want that, do you? So we're committed to professional sales. That's the way you're going to tap into this opportunity. So if you're committed to professional sales, let's talk about our first important topic of this session. Engaging with the millennial online shopper more effectively and converting a higher percentage to in-store traffic. It's a big amount of words, but basically, when we talk about handling internet leads, on your screen, we have the basics, okay, of handling internet leads. And you know it's good to be reminded of the basics. And you guys are familiar with the basics of handling internet leads. And we should continue training on handling internet leads. But that's not what this workshop is about. We're taking it up a notch, okay? This workshop, and we think the secret and the biggest difference of being able to actually get the millennial online shopper on the phone or in your dealership is how you handle price. You could do these basics perfectly, but if you mishandle price questions, you could still lose a sale, couldn't you? I mean, can't we all get a little better on how we handle price online? Look, if we get weak and we use the path of least resistance and make the online experience all about price, aren't we giving that customer a hunting license to basically do what? That's right. As a matter of fact, it's a fact. This is in your workbook. But if we make the online experience all about price, 96% of the customers, they're basically just going to take your number and go shop, which means you're only giving yourself a 4% chance at selling them a car. I don't like those odds, do you? Look, I live in Virginia. And when I was getting ready for this session, okay, I reached out to a local dealership just to see how they handled internet leads. Good dealership, well respected, but the question that I sent was, hey, I'm just trying to get your best price on a Honda Accord 4-door EXL 6-cylinder. Their response, and they were friendly, but their response was, that trim level is priced at $33,580, but with our summer clearance, you're looking at $27,627 plus taxes and fees. The response that you're seeing on your screen at the top. Okay, again, nice dealership. But I thought the goal online was to get them on the phone as soon as you can, so your personality can shine through. Isn't it the first person that has a meaningful conversation with the customer, a positive conversation with that customer? They're the ones who usually set the appointment, right? But why would I have to talk to you if I already got all the information that I need because you sent me your best price? Wouldn't your goal at this point either be to hope that you're the only one who has the car, or hope you are in fact the lowest price? Look, with millions invested, I'm going to ask you a question. Should we rely on hope in this business, or should we rely on skills? Should be skills, shouldn't it? Wouldn't this have been a better way to handle that online lead? Okay, look, same question, just trying to get your price on this Honda Accord 4-door EXL 6-cylinder. Now watch this response. That trim level is $33,580, but your timing is perfect. We're getting off to a fast start this year, and with all the different options, programs, and incentives available, I think I can save you some time with a quick phone call if that's okay. Question mark, maybe even a smiley face, send. I mean, what am I selling there? I'm not selling the price. Aren't I selling the phone conversation? Look, you have to sell the phone conversation more than the price if you actually want to help that millennial out with their new car. Hey, is it possible that that millennial could end up buying something different anyways? It's a fact. This stat is in your workbook, but 86% of the customers, they actually end up buying something different than they told their salesperson they had to have. So why am I sending this customer a price on a car we don't even have? So again, you have to sell the phone conversation and not just the price. And I get it. Okay, I got 3 millennial kids. They say they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk. They just want to text, email, and hook up on social media. Okay, I thought about that, but look, here's the thing. Look at my generation. What did I do to buy a car from your dealership? I would come in, I would look at what you have, I'd find something I like, I might even drive it, and then I would try to go into the salesperson's office and get your best price so I could leave and shop and compare, right? Okay, so what did you do as a dealership? You designed a selling process to walk me through my buying process. You designed a selling process to slow me down, to find my wants and needs. You designed a process to give me a good value building presentation demonstration. You designed a process to answer my questions and concerns. And you designed a process to help make the math make sense to me. But here's the point. Isn't it time right now, based on this workshop, to make some updates and refinements to your selling process so we can have a selling process that walks that millennial through their buying process? Okay, hey, now look, I know what you're thinking, okay? Everybody goes to worst case scenario, although it only happens 10% of the time. But I want to give you an example because I know you're thinking it, okay? Is it possible you could get a lead like this? Customer says, listen, I'm just shopping 5 different dealerships, and whoever gives me the best price is where I'm going to probably buy. You could get that kind of lead, couldn't you? Look, rather than just sending over your best price and just hoping, why not at least try, hey, Mark, it looks like you're doing a lot of research. And with all the programs and incentives available, can I give you a quick call just to clarify that I'm giving you the maximum discount possible? Question mark, smiley face, send. I mean, I think that one's stronger than bear's breath as far as going from online to on the phone. But can you see there's actually more things that we can do rather than just sending them our best price? That's the point I'm trying to make here. Okay, and I've given you some good, solid responses that you can use today. Oh, and you know what? Some salespeople, they handle the online leads so bad that they're flat out scaring millennials away. Okay, let me give you an example, all right? I sent a follow-up question to that same dealership. Okay, well-respected dealership, they sell a lot of cars, but the follow-up question that I sent was, actually, we were thinking about leasing. Do you know what the lease payment would be? Look at the bottom of the screen. Okay, I'm not looking at it, but basically it said something like this. Here's where their response was. Without your credit history in front of me, that would be impossible. What you can do is visit our website and fill out the online credit application. You're scaring them away. That millennial hasn't even agreed to buy, and you're treating them like a get-me-done. Do you want to be treated like a get-me-done? Well, the millennial doesn't want to be treated like a get-me-done either. I mean, doesn't pre-qualifying kill the sale on the suicide plan? Wouldn't this have been a better response? Look, same question. Actually, we're thinking about leasing. What would a lease payment would be? Listen carefully. The leases on the Accords are great right now. Of course, there's a couple different factors that go into that. What's a good time to get together so we can figure out which lease would be best for you? Can you come down early today or maybe later on this afternoon? Question mark, smiley face, what? Send. Okay, you're getting this, aren't you? Again, I'm selling the in-store visit there rather than pre-qualifying the customer. Oh, and you can use shorter versions of the responses that we have in your workbook for text leads too, couldn't you? Text leads. Think about a text lead. I know some of you guys are getting more and more text leads, but isn't the goal on a text lead, or shouldn't the goal be to take that text lead and go to the phone and or the dealership to sell the phone call or an in-store visit? Listen, I know texting is big with millennials. It is. Actually, it's not even a millennial thing, it's an everybody thing, isn't it? It's a very accepted form of communication now, right? Look, texting, it's convenient. You got the instant gratification thing going. It's definitely less committal overall. You can multitask. I mean, people love texting. I love texting. I text all day, every day. I text with my wife 3 times today. But look, texting is great for the initial contact. Texting is great to answer basic questions. Texting is great to send them over a picture of that car, to get them excited about it. It's good for setting up appointments. It's good for selling them on a phone conversation. And it's especially good with unsold follow-up to give them a compelling reason to get back to the store. But you do, from text, you do have to progress to phone and or lot. That's the goal. To keep the sale moving forward is the goal. Look, in summary on all internet leads, because we got to move on, you got 2 choices. Okay, A, and some of you guys are trying to do this, you can figure out how to try to sell cars over the internet without talking to anyone, but you're going to miss some sales you could be getting. Your grosses aren't going to be as high. You're not going to get their service business, and you won't build your repeat business. Or B, handle internet leads the right way, sell more cars at higher gross, marry them to service, and build your repeat business. Which is better, A or B? You decide. I can't decide for you. Okay, now what about the phone? I mean, if we as salespeople, or if our salespeople did a better job at handling incoming sales calls with the Millennial, couldn't we convert a higher percentage to in-store traffic? How are you, or how are your salespeople doing right now at converting incoming calls into shows and sales? I think a lot of millennials are flat out becoming incoming sales call opportunities. Here's why. They don't like filling out the online form. They don't want their personal information out on the internet. Half of the millennials think you're going to sell their information. Plus, these millennials are so tech savvy, they know if they fill out your online form, the follow-up factory is about ready to begin. The millennial wants to feel in control, and it makes perfectly good sense, and let me tell you why. They're on their iPhone, they're on your website, they find a car they like, and they hit the call now button. That's not an internet lead. That's an incoming sales call. Okay, and we're getting a bunch of them, and there's huge opportunity. But look, just like the internet lead, you have your fundamentals, okay? Look at the screen right there. Those are your fundamentals on handling the incoming sales call. But again, the secret, the key, and the skill that we have to develop to convert a higher percentage of millennials into in-store traffic is to be just flat out brilliant on how we got to handle their price questions, because they're going to have them. Let me give you an example. Let's look at the first part of an incoming sales call, okay? Ring, 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 ring. Thanks for calling ABC Toyota. This is Sean. How can I help you? Yes, I'm trying to get your best price on this Camry that I see on your website. Oh, okay, great. Who am I speaking with? Robert. But can you do any better on the price that I see on this website? Well, Robert, I can definitely check on that for you. And you know the Camry's one of my favorite cars. Which model were you looking at? The SE. Oh, man, that's awesome. You got to admit, the rims on the SE really look good this year, don't they? Yes, they do. Now, Robert, just to make sure, were you wanting your SE in a 6-cylinder or 4-cylinder? Okay, and were you wanting your SE with leather or cloth? And did you want to go with or without the sunroof? I got you. Hey, Robert, by the way, are you calling locally or are you calling from out of the area? That's a great question to ask, isn't it? Are you calling locally or are you calling from out of the area? Listen, I get it. If the customer is calling from 250 miles away, get a manager involved, handle the lead accordingly, sell the car. That's plus business, which means it's a deal we wouldn't normally get. And it's probably on a harder to find car. We're talking about handling price properly on that local lead that's going to buy from you or your direct competition. But did you see how we kind of worked price out of the conversation in a nice way? And we started focusing on wants and needs and discovering that customer's hot button and even maybe drifting off a little bit and building rapport. But look, and it's not just how you handle the initial price questions, it's learning to ask the right questions after that to keep leading the conversation in the right direction. But now look, let me give you another example, because I know everybody's going to worst case scenario, okay? It could be the same call or it could be a different call, but now I'm trying to set up an in-store visit with this customer. Could the customer say something like, hey, I'm just trying to get the best price? Could he say that? I mean, that could happen, couldn't it? Oh, Robert, you getting the best price at our dealership is a given. We even have some financial tools to help squeeze vehicles into people's budgets that other dealerships just don't have. Tell you what, let me roll out the red carpet and give you our dealership's VIP treatment. I'm going to go ahead and get that Camry pulled around front, cleaned up and ready for you to look at. What's a good time to get together? Can you come down right now? Maybe a little later on this afternoon? How could they say no to that? Roll out the red carpet and give you our dealership's VIP treatment? Try it. Now, could the customer, because I know you doubters, you're thinking, oh, well, they could still say, well, I'm not coming down unless you give me a price. Oh, Robert, you're such a kidder. It'd sure be a shame to miss the best deal in town just to save 10 minutes and not stop by to look at the car. Seriously, what's a good time for us to get together? Can you come down right now or maybe a little later on this afternoon? I'm at least trying, aren't I? At least try once to gently and nicely take a price question and sell the in-store visit. I take a price question as a buying sign. That means they're actually interested. So let's get them to the store. Why not? You're getting them to the store for their benefit so they can fall in love with the car. At least try. Do you remember the 96% will shop if you make the phone call all about price? Well, it's the same on the phone, it's the same online. So listen, you got a fundamental choice on incoming calls, okay? A, talk price, but then 96% of your phone ups are gonna keep shopping. Or B, handle the phone call the right way, and 60% of your phone ups are gonna set up a time to get your best price in person. What's your choice, A or B? Raise your hand in there if you're going to make a commitment to get better on the phone this year in 2017. You want to add 5-6 sales per guy per month? The incoming sales call is where it's at. Okay, but you got to develop your skills. It's not going to happen on its own. All right, so now look, we've gone a long way, but we got more to go. We are not done. Okay, we did a good job online. We handled price properly. We got them on the phone. We sold the in-store visit. We handled price properly. That millennial just pulled up to your dealership in their trade-in. What's next? Showtime, isn't it? We got them in the store. It is showtime. So let's take a minute and talk about Joe's value-based selling process designed specifically for today's buyer. You know, we do training all over the country and in Canada and in some other countries, okay? And every dealer I talk to, practically 90% of them agree on this, that salespeople have made selling price the habit. They don't sell cars anymore. They're selling prices on the cars. I mean, dealers are telling me they sell price online, salespeople and managers, by the way, they're selling price on the phone, okay? They're selling price on the lot. And then look at me here just for a second. At the very end of the deal, doesn't a manager go in and close the sale based on dropping the what? Yeah, Joe's selling process is value-based, and we're going to introduce you to a new concept here. And what it ensures is a world-class VIP experience every time with every customer. That's what we need to be striving for, the world-class VIP experience every time with every customer. Now, if we're going to give that kind of experience with every customer every time, we have to be time sensitive, right? Do you remember earlier on I said millennials don't want to spend all day at your dealership, do they? Okay, so what I've done, now first of all, we show you how to get rid of the 3-hour marathon deals, okay? And we show you how to make your selling process more efficient, okay, and effective. But, and I'm even going to ask you on this, who wants the quickest way to shorten the process of buying a car at your dealership and without skipping the most important part, the value part? Everybody does, right? I mean, that's the big buzz here, by the way, shorten up the selling process. But I'm going to show you how to shorten it up without skipping the most important steps, the excitement part, the rapport part, the closing part. But if we're going to do that, we got to know what drags your selling process out right now. Wouldn't you say the biggest thing that drags out your selling process right now is the customer dead time because of the lack of preparedness of some of our salespeople and even some of our managers? Look, this next slide right here, these are what we would call the but the biggest time monsters salespeople fall into that unnecessarily slow down the process of buying a car at your dealership. Like for instance, salesperson's not ready or not prepared for an appointment they set a day or two ago. How many of you guys got some salespeople, or maybe you're a salesperson yourself, you set an appointment, you forget about it, customer comes in, you're like, oh, they're here? I didn't even know. Okay? We're all guilty of this. You set an appointment for your day off and you're not even there when the customer shows. We consider that a time monster. Or maybe it takes too long to get out there and actually talk to somebody. That's a time monster. Or you can't find the keys, or the car won't start, or the car doesn't have gas in it. That's a time monster. Or you're trying to juggle too many customers at one time and don't end up selling any of them. Those are time monsters because you're not doing a quality job. Or maybe you're talking past the sale. Or maybe it's taking you forever and a day to write the deal up. And I think this is the biggest one. You choose on this screen which one of the time monsters you see your sales team falling into the most. But I think the biggest time monster is because of a lack of effective tools that we have to make the math make sense. The negotiations seems to get dragged out way longer than it has to. Okay, enough beating up salespeople though. Some of you guys are managers, aren't you? Let's beat us up a little bit. These are some of the time monsters that managers fall into that unnecessarily drag out the process of buying a car at your store. Look, no manager available, or the manager doesn't make the deal a priority, or it takes too long to get an appraisal on a trade, or it's taken too long for the manager to put their first pencil together, or the manager is just creating too much back and forth in the deal, or the manager waits way too long to go in on a turn and they should have been in on a turn 20 minutes ago, or simply there's just too long of a wait for F&I. Mentally circle some of the time monsters you as managers see yourself falling into. And look, when we talk about giving each and every customer the world-class VIP experience every time, maybe fixing some of these would be a great place to start, huh? In 2017? I mean, if you're sincere about giving the customer the world-class VIP experience, but then it's taking you 20 minutes to do an appraisal on a trade. So this is a great place to start. But now look, I'm going to introduce you to the 1 hour sale. It's ambitious, isn't it? 1 hour to go from hi, how are you, to a solid value-based commitment. 1 hour to sell ourselves, the product, and the dealership. And I kind of like this from the manager end, okay? 1 hour for the salesperson to set the deal up right. Look at the screen real quick. Obviously, the first thing a salesperson has to do, and I don't care we're talking millennial or my generation, we still got to get that customer to like us, right? That's the first 15 minutes, the warm-up phase of the selling process. Look, 71% of the customers said they bought the car because they liked their salesperson. They liked, trusted, and respected their salesperson. So it's this simple. They either like, trust, and respect your salesperson, or they like, trust, and respect the other salesperson at the other dealership better. It's not price, it's who do they like. So we got to warm the customer up. Now, one thing that can really help you in 2017 in this warm-up phase is let's make sure a manager walks over within this first 15 minutes before the customer actually picks out a car just to introduce themselves. We're not talking about the manager taking over the deal or taking a turn on the deal. We're talking about just a quick flyby to say hi as part of the world-class VIP experience. There's so much that a manager can do just in a minute or two. Like, for instance, they could sell the customer on the salesperson. They'll also get some rapport and credibility built up themselves with the customer. The customer will start to feel more relaxed and comfortable at your dealership. The manager might find some clues on how they're going to need to work this deal. They might be able to handle some initial price questions right up front that the salesperson can't. Look, this cannot be an option in today's time. You know the biggest benefit of this? If the manager does have to come back in later on the deal to close it, the manager will already have pre-built-in rapport and credibility, which is going to make things a heck of a lot easier. You know what it is? It's called removing the red tape. Actually, you know what this process is called? We call it EMI, Early Management Introduction. Managers doing a little work up front that pays huge dividends later on as part of the world-class VIP experience. Now, for some salespeople, it's not early management introduction. Do you know what it is? It's actually early management intervention. It's getting involved sooner before the salesperson totally botches things up. Just having a little fun here, but you know what I mean, right? Ha! All right, now look, we warm the customer up. Now, look at this next 30 minutes. It's time to build value. The value building phase, the next 30 minutes, is all about showing why and how owning this particular car in your inventory fits that customer's wants and needs. It's about taking the specific features the customer's interested in and turning those into advantages and benefits. It's about building the value higher than the price. It's also educating the customer about the product. Look, the millennial, I don't care about lead source. I don't care if they know invoice, less holdback, less incentive to the penny. That millennial deserves to be shown what they're getting for their money, right? You know, one of the biggest things that I had to learn in this business, and it was from Joe Verdi, is you got two ways to compete in this business, okay? Two ways. You only have two ways. One, you can try to compete by trying to have the lowest price. But shoot, that doesn't even always work out. Or you can compete by making sure each and every customer gets that world-class VIP experience every single time. Look, we were working with a Nissan store in a major metropolitan area. The GM was in one of our classes, but here's the point, okay? This GM told me, he said, listen, I was a new GM. I want to become number one. How am I going to do this? Okay, we're going to make it easier for our customers to buy. How are we going to do this? We're going to pre-price every car online so low that they won't be able to resist. They'll end up having to buy a Nissan. And their whole goal was to chase the incentive money. That's how they're going to make it up. Let's chase the incentive money. That's how we're going to be number one. When the dust settled at the end of the month, they were 50 units shy of the incentive money. They weren't number one in their area either. So look, huge front-end losses, didn't hit the goal of being number one, and no incentive money. That GM is back to training on value. Wouldn't you rather compete on value than price? Value, you can win, your grosses are higher, you'll sell more cars, and your CSI is even better. Okay, now here's the thing though. Is it possible, because we're talking about that informed millennial, is it possible they could bring up price themselves within this first 45 minutes? It's not only possible, it's a fact. This is in your workbook, but write it down. 98% of all millennials bring up price within the first 10 minutes. Can you, or can a salesperson build value, build rapport, find wants and needs, do a great job in the presentation demonstration, and talk price at the same time? I mean, you think so. I know some of you think you can multitask, but I have proof that you can't. Take a guess on this. What is the average, this is a fact, what is the average first immediate discount every time a salesperson tries to handle their very first price question? Do you guys know what it is? It's $844. And some salespeople even give it up as soon as they're greeting. It's almost like they're going out there saying, hi, I'm Sean. Let me save you $844 right off the bat. And you are, you just gave up $844. Joe Verdi says the average salesperson gives up $2,062 of their gross by the time they get to the write-up. How much is left on a Spark or a Fit or a Yaris? Not much. Actually, you're in the hole, aren't you? Okay, look, properly handling price questions gives the salesperson the opportunity to put the customer on the right car based on wants and needs and not price. Properly handling price questions gives the salesperson the time to make the car the star, where the salesperson and the car are actually on stage to give the customer a quality presentation demonstration. Properly handling price questions gives the salesperson the opportunity to make it to the write-up with their full and correct pricing still intact, setting up a win-win negotiations so we can sell the car and earn a fair profit. Let me show you, because you know you're going to get these price questions in the selling process. Let me show you how easy it is to handle price questions in the selling process. Or you tell me which is better, A or B. Which way is better for the customer experience, to sell more cars, and even make more gross profit, A or B? Look at A. I'm out on the lot, I'm showing a customer some trucks, and they simply ask, what's the price on that truck? I'm the salesperson, and I say something like, well, the sticker price on this truck is $52,432, but sir, don't worry about the price. My job is to fight for you on your behalf and get you the best price I can on this truck. Or B, customer says, what's the price on the truck? It's just over 52. By the way, I never even asked you, who's the lucky one? Is this going to be for you or somebody else? Okay, and were you wanting to do your truck in a 4-wheel drive or a 2-wheel drive? Okay, now you know this one's an 8-cylinder, right? Were you thinking 8-cylinder or maybe EcoBoost? Okay, so is this a truck you're going to be doing some towing and hauling with, or maybe just going back and forth to work in? Really? What type of work are you in? Which way is better, A or B? It's obvious, isn't it? Listen, when your salespeople make the price the issue so early on like that, you know what it end up is going to be? They're going to need a tissue later on when they're trying to work this deal. All right, let me give you one more example just so you can hear it loud and clear. A little tougher. Let's take it up a notch. A millennial buyer, they're out there looking at some trucks. They still haven't landed on a particular truck. Is it possible they could say something like, listen, I've been doing my research. I kind of know your invoice on these things. I know your holdback. What do you think you can do on one of these? Could you get a question like that? All right. A, which way is better, A or B? A, let me go get with my manager. I'll find out. Does that sound professional? Or B, customer says, I know your invoice, I know your holdback, what do you think you can do on one of these? Well, Robert, it looks like you're well informed, so I'm definitely going to be able to save you some time. But look, there's been some incredible updates on the F-150, so I just need to ask you a few questions just to even make sure that I'm on the right track with what you want. Let's make sure you like the truck, and then we'll go back to my office and I'll get you all the information you need, okay? Now, by the way, I know you said you're going to be using this for work. Were you wanting a regular cab or a crew cab? Okay, and were you thinking the 6-foot bed or the 8-foot bed? Okay, and were you wanting something more basic or something with all the bells and whistles? So now you're thinking maybe LT or LTZ. Which way is better, A or B? Which way is more professional, A or B? Isn't it B? Look, I hope you're getting the concept or the theme or the major thrust of what this workshop is all about. It's all about properly handling price questions on the lot, on the phone, online. Is going to help you sell more cars with higher gross profit and better CSI. But look, we got to progress on in the sale. Check this out. We built some value. The customer likes us. We've given the customer the world-class VIP experience. They're excited. They're actually thinking maybe they want to buy now. So what do we got to do? Look at the last 15 minutes of the selling process. We got to convert our efforts into a solid value-based commitment. And I want to give you a little more detail here because I love Joe's closing process because he tells you when to close and what to say. And it's based on value, not price. Let me give you an example of this, okay? We're coming back from the demonstration drive. I'm starting to see the sign of the dealership. We're about 2 minutes away, and I start to summarize. This car is driving great, isn't it? And the 6-cylinder really accelerated nicely too, didn't it? And I know you guys wanted the leather, the nav, and the sunroof too, right? Okay, now your timing is perfect. We're pulling on the lot. Guys, it sounds like we found the perfect car. Why don't you pull it up to the sold line? Yeah, right there next to your trade-in. I'm gonna grab the keys. Let's go inside and start the paperwork so you can enjoy it over the weekend. Were you gonna register this in one name or two? If the customer pulls up to the sold line and said they're gonna put in both names, what do they agree to do? That's a really, really good sign, isn't it? Now, could that millennial buyer say though, well, I don't know, we need to think it over, or you haven't told us what we can buy it for yet? Could they say that? No, it's not could, they will. Okay, so did the close work if they say they want to think it over? We think it did. If you know what a good close is designed to do. What's a good close designed to do? It's designed to close a sale, or it's designed to flush out an objection. Now, objections, are they roadblocks or stepping stones? Aren't they stepping stones? Aren't customers nervous about spending money even though they're getting ready to spend it? I mean, they could love the car and still say, let me think it over. I mean, it's that money separation anxiety thing. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But here's the point on this. Isn't it time to get our salespeople better at what Joe calls the 30-second battle? Have you heard of that, the 30-second battle? The 30-second battle is the last 30 seconds of the selling process that often determines, it's the awkward time, but it often determines if we're going to get strong, write it up, and sell this guy a car, or are we going to get weak because we mishandled that 30-second battle and put a B-back packet together? Who's tired of their salespeople putting B-back packets together? I am. I want to turn my salespeople into closers, okay? But now look, we're having some fun, but this thing is not over. Hang in with me, okay? Stay in the room for a little bit longer, all right? Because we got 2 more major subjects that can help you have your best year ever. But let's recap real quick. We did a great job online. I gave you specific examples of how to better handle price online so you can get them on the phone. We talked about the phone. I gave you some incredible ways, 3 ways to handle price on the phone to sell that in-store visit. Okay? We talked about the world-class VIP experience. Part of that, if you're a manager, is doing that EMI, Early Management Introduction. And then I gave you 2 specific things that you could do to handle price on the lot. I'd write out those scripts word for word, and I'd practice them until they're instinctive so you can handle price better and sell more cars and raise your gross. I even gave you an example of Joe Verdi's closing process. Okay, so you got a customer they're thinking, okay, I want to buy this car, and they like the dealership and they feel comfortable with the salesperson. What's the time to do now? It's time to set up an effective negotiations and make the math make sense. So I want to give you some quick tips on how to work the numbers with millennials. Okay, and I'm going to give you some tips, but I need to say this a different way. Okay. 80%, write that number down, 80% of your success in the negotiations depends on how well you set the deal up. I mean, if you don't have the rapport with the customer by now, if you investigated wrong and put them on the wrong car, if you got lazy in your presentation, if you didn't even go on your demonstration drive, if you never even asked for the sale, it's going to make the negotiations a complete nightmare. Come on, you know that's true, right? So I hope you write this down and maybe even put this in your office somewhere. A positive experience prior to the negotiations is what's most important for that millennial. Did you write that down? Okay, now look. It's hard in a format like this to get into the finer points of working a car deal. But what I want to do is I want to give you one major concept that's critical. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 great words so your grosses can be higher and you can be more successful in the negotiations. Here's the concept, okay? To be compliant and transparent does not have to mean no gross profit. You guys get that, don't you? Look, to be compliant and to be transparent, people have many meanings, but to me it doesn't mean no gross profit. What it means is no trickery or foolery. In other words, the shell game is over. You know what it means? It means we actually have to do some serious training in our store to be able to professionally present the numbers and to consultatively make the math make sense, to actually do it the right way. Agreed? All right, so now look, if you're going to do it the right way, I'm going to give you 3 words to design your negotiation process around. and it's going to give you a huge edge in 2017. Check it out. You're looking at the screen, respect. Give that millennial the respect that they deserve. Really. Now, how are you going to do this? Well, one, this is huge. Actually congratulate them for the research they've been doing and actually talk about how that's going to make it so much easier for them to buy a car at your dealership. Don't argue with them, congratulate them. All right. Get your first set of numbers out quicker, less than 5 minutes. Nothing shows disrespect more than it taking you 15 to 20 minutes to put your first pencil together. That millennials in the salesperson's office think, what the heck is going on up there? They're starting to think you're strategizing against them. So get that first pencil out quicker. And then another way to show respect is no more than 2 passes total. Look, the first pass to present the numbers and to set the tone of how we're going to work the deal, and also, just like a good car guy, we're going to work them obviously for the highest counter offer we can get. But then look, that second pass, you need to dial it in. I understand we're probably going to have to go for a little bit of a bump, but we need to try to do business on that second pass, okay? Put it this way, if it has to go past the second pass, that's a lot of passing, I'm with you. But the initial manager who did the EMI in that first 15 minutes now needs to come in at this point as part of the world-class VIP experience to cut the red tape and to eliminate any more back and forth. Look, when it comes to a millennial, too much back and forth, too many different options, that millennial is going to shut down and you're going to lose the sale. All right, so we got to respect, and I gave you some things that you could do to respect that millennial. Look at the second word, information. Millennials want information. And you know the information that they want. When you show them the numbers, what information do they want? They want to know how you came up with these numbers. So you have to be ready with the details. That's why training is so important now. You can't get away with not training your staff. And also, that's why it's important for managers to get involved sooner in on the deal in today's time. Just even almost as a recap, okay? They got to get involved within the first 15 minutes. What do we call that? EMI, early management introduction, and they got to get involved anything more than that second pass to cut the red tape and make it easier for that millennial to buy the car. Okay, look, it's time for the managers to get off the desk and in the game. And if you're a manager, yes, I'm trying to get you to work a little more, but you know what? Your salespeople will be very appreciated because they're going to sell more cars and make more money. They're going to be able to provide for their families better, and the store's going to be more successful, which means you're going to be more successful. How do you get everything in life you want? You got to help enough other people get what they want. Zig Ziglar. Okay, and then look at this last group of words, I guess, on the bottom of the page. Our salespeople need more closing and negotiation tools with today's buyer to be able to make the math make sense. You know, we said a little bit earlier that 80% of the sales are closed after the 5th attempt. You guys remember that, right? What we didn't talk about yet is, and I don't know if you know this, some of you guys, I'm sure you know, but 75% of all salespeople only know and use one close. That's it. And do you know the one close they know? It's if I could, would you? It's a price close. That's bad enough. If I could get the figures agreeable on this truck, we're in your business now. So yeah, it's bad enough being a price close, but we got a fundamental problem here. If 80% of the sales are closed after the 5th attempt, but the salespeople only know one close, how are they going to close the sale? It's going to be tough, isn't it? You got 2 things you can hope for. One, you can hope that the customer's been to 4 other stores so far, which doesn't happen in today's time. Or you could do what I did. I tried to figure out 5 different ways to reword if I could, would you? Could that become a challenge? If I could, would you? Well, we want to think about it. Could you if I would? Well, we need one night. You would if I could, wouldn't you? I mean, I'm trying on this, aren't I? I mean, I am. That's not the answer, okay? But you know what? If you're a manager, okay, salespeople shouldn't feel too bad because guess how many closes the average manager knows? That's how you got promoted. 2. And what's your second close? Let me go get the invoice. I'll be right back. Just kidding, but we're having fun, right? Okay, but it is time for all of us to have more tools. You know, one of the things, and this is just real quick, one of the things, and this means you know you need more tools. You know, salesperson comes up to the desk asking for some help, and you as a manager are talking to the salesperson saying this, "What'd you tell him?" "Okay, yeah. That's all I would have told him too, yeah. Put a B-back packet together." Okay, that means we need more tools. All right, now look, this is not over, okay? I gave you some tips on the negotiation, respect, information, more closing tools. Manager has to go in after the second pass, cut the red tape, make it easier for that millennial to buy a car. You remember that, right? Get the first pass out quicker. We got the world-class VIP experience. You remember that. Doing a good job online, doing a good job on the phone. I mean, how many how-tos are you picking up in this segment? I mean, I don't care if you got to watch this segment over and over and over and over. There's a bunch of how-tos that can make this your best year ever. But I'm telling you right now, this is probably the best part of this segment. So hang in there just a little bit longer, okay? And then we're going to sum this thing up. And I'll start off by asking you guys this. Who wants more customer loyalty? Raise your hand. I can't see you in the camera. Raise your hand. Okay. Who wants a stream of millennials coming back, buying more and more cars and to be dedicated service customers? All right. Cool. And I think this is even most important. Who is tired of trying to figure out how to replace their customers every month and actually wants to retain their best customers? I mean, if I was on the floor, that sounds like something I'd want to learn how to do. First of all, the good news, okay? Good news, 95% of the people that you sell a car to are going to be out there buying another car within 3 to 5 years. So that's good news. Okay, more good news. Maybe even write this down. Did you know it was 5 times cheaper to keep a customer than to find a new one? So if you're a dealer, that's got to catch your attention. Oh, and I think this is the best stat. All this is in your workbook, but look, 75% of customers would be dealership, product, and salesperson loyal if the salesperson just went to work and had a more organized way to keep in touch with their previously sold customers. Now, the bad news. The bad news is 90% of your salespeople don't have any long-term follow-up program to keep in touch with their sold customers. Which leads to more bad news. Because of this, 82% of your previously sold customers can't even remember their salesperson's name 1 year after they purchased the car. End result, 63% of your previously sold customers have no intention of buying their next vehicle from the same dealership or same salesperson again. With all the potential that I just painted with the good news, and you knowing how bad your salespeople do with the bad news, isn't it finally time to fix this? Okay, and sure, and I get it, okay? You want salespeople to get the customer's preferred contact for after the sale. I get it, okay? You want your salespeople to keep in touch with the customer through Facebook. I get it. You got a phenomenal CRM, right? Okay, but if this was the single way to build a repeat and referral business, wouldn't all your salespeople already be doing 30 cars a month at 100% repeat business? But we know most salespeople aren't even close to that, right? Look, no one knows how to build a customer base better than Joe Verdi. Quick story on Joe Verdi. We've been in business for 30 years. We grow every single year, and this is the most important part of the story. We get no walk-in traffic. 0. And we grow every year because we know how to build and manage a customer base. Look, we're so good at building and managing a customer base, we could talk about this for 3 hours, but I'm going to try to show you how it works in just a couple minutes. Look at this slide here. Okay? At the top of the slide, or the overhead. There's many different ways a salesperson can make a contact each and every month. They can make a contact by person, by email, snail mail, text, phone, social media. Hey, wouldn't you say if we look at all those sources of contacts, a salesperson could make a minimum of 50 a month? I mean, a minimum. Now look, from these 50 contacts, watch how simple this is. Look at the diamond there. You either sell them or don't. Okay, now listen, if you sell the customer a car, of course you have your immediate after-sale follow-up to do. And if you don't sell the customer a car, you have your immediate unsold follow-up to do. We talk all about that in our training, but that's not the point of this. Here's the point. Whether you sell them or don't sell them, look at the diamond. Eventually, they all need to end up on the salesperson's master list. What's a master list, you say? It's a never-ending list of names of people that know who you are, where you work, and what you do. Let me say that again. It's a never-ending list of names of people that know who you are, where you work, and what you do. And I think if you either sold them or didn't, it would qualify, wouldn't it? Let's slow down for 1 second. If you're a salesperson, and this is critical, I think salespeople are going to watch this too, but check this out. If you're a salesperson, one of the most important things you can do in this business to succeed and grow every year without fail is to get and stay in one dealership your entire career. And the second most important thing you can do if you want to succeed and grow every year on unit sales and income is build and properly manage your master list. I think salespeople and dealers forget that talking to walk-ins, grabbing phone-ups, and grabbing internet leads is just supposed to be for training and to help us pay our bills as we're building our business within this business. I mean, salespeople are in business for themselves, aren't they? But how many salespeople have tried to make a permanent living of very expensive traffic that the dealer pays for? That's only going to lead to average, just to let you know. So how do you manage this master list, and how do you guarantee your growth every single year? Look at the bottom of this master list, okay? How often every 45 days does everyone on your master list get an e-newsletter? How often every 45 days? Just try to answer that. How often every 45 days? Look, it's a one-page e-newsletter. That's it. It's just got to be interesting, informative, and valuable. That's it. Don't put a price on there. Put your picture on there. Make sure someone edits it. And of course, the customer needs to be able to opt out if they want to. But look, in conjunction with the 45-day e-newsletter, how often should you be calling your sold customers every 90 days? Take a guess. How often should you call your sold customers every 90 days? Try it. We call this 45-90 for customer retention and for building your referral business. You know what it is? It's about turning salespeople into marketing machines. Not necessarily the dealership, the salespeople into marketing machines. Okay, and look, we tell salespeople what to do, how to set this up, how easy it is, how to plan their day. That's been a big question here. What should salespeople do to plan their day to get all 8 hours of an 8-hour day? But here's the point of this. Follow me here. If I'm adding 50 people to my master list every month from all my contacts that month, that means my master list is building at a rate of 600 a year, 1,200 second year, 1,800 third year, and so on, right? So doesn't this mean every time I send out an e-newsletter, the amount of e-newsletters I'm sending out is always increasing, isn't it? And since I'm always adding more people to my master list, the number of 90-day calls I have to make every day to my sold customers is ever increasing too, right? So what does this mean to me as a salesperson? I'll tell you what it means to me. Eventually, the amount of customers coming through your dealership door asking for me by name would also ever be increasing. Eventually, every other salesperson in the store would end up being my personal greeter. And I'd always be selling more cars month after month, year after year. Isn't this the goal? I had one salesperson in my class say, you know, that could get out of hand. It's the whole point, isn't it? I mean, wouldn't you love to sell 6 cars on a Saturday if you're a salesperson? I mean, I think that's a good thing, not a bad thing. There's a catch to Joe Verdi in what we talk about. I mean, I'll tell you flat out, our stuff is not for everybody. It's only for the dealerships that want to sell a lot of cars and make a lot of money. Maybe that's not you. I don't know. Maybe it'd put you in a tax bind. Ha. No, I'm just kidding. Look, we're going to end this thing, but check it out. Did you pick up some great tips on how to do a better job in handling price on internet leads? And you can use those right now, can't you? Did you pick up some great tips on how to better handle phone ups, to handle price on a phone up so you can sell the in-store visit? Are you going to start focusing on giving each and every customer the world-class VIP experience? If you're a manager, are you going to jump in and start doing more EMIs? Are you going to make some adjustments to your desking, your negotiation process? Are you going to start going in at the end of the second pass so you can purposely eliminate any more back and forth, cut the red tape, and make it easier for that millennial to buy? I mean, I hope you choose something and actually take some action. There's so much stuff in the last hour that we talked about. I can't decide on what you're going to do. You have to make that decision, but I hope you do something. And there's one final decision that you have to make that'll help you have a great year in 2017, okay? And it sums everything up that we've been talking about to this point when it comes to the millennial. I want you to think about this. Does value still matter to the millennial? Does it? Yes or no? Does value still matter? Is it all about price or is it just about value? Does the millennial still need to like the salesperson? Do they need to feel comfortable in your surroundings? Do they need to be excited about the car? I think so. I think so. I mean, I think Joe Verdi, my boss, said it best. A good deal, write this down, a good deal is a feeling, not a number. A good deal is a feeling, not just a number. Look, if that millennial likes the salesperson they're working with, if that millennial feels comfortable in your dealership, if you've picked out the right car that fits that millennial's wants and needs and you got them excited about it, and then you help that millennial fit it in their budget, they're going to be ecstatic about the deal, and they're probably going to tell 2,000 of their closest friends online. Guys, I thank you so much for the last hour. I hope I gave you some great tools to work on, and please have your best year ever.